top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
It has been a very long season, and now it comes down to tonight. We welcome you to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series as tonight at Viva Las Vegas, a champion will be crowned. Amongst all the rest of the drivers that'll be battling on the racetrack tonight, there is a battle for the championship. 4 drivers, just like in the NASCAR National Tours of Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. In the Northwest Cup Series, the same remains. Ryan Bloom was the ARCA Northwest champion on Friday night. Now the question is, who will be out of the 4 drivers, Blake Peterson, Dan West Jr., Chris White, and defending champion Sean Brightsman, champion at night's end? Here is an opportunity now to meet the drivers before they go to work in a quest for a championship.
My name is Blake Peterson. I drive for Skeet Fleet Enterprises, and my car number is 09.
Sean Brightsman, number 46 Toyota Camry, part of Team LSRTV.
My name's Dan West Jr., number 55, part of LSRTV Racing.
Chris White Racing, number 83, Ford Mustang.
So there they are, the 4 drivers ready to go here for championship night. Who will be the Northwest iRacing Cup Series champion in about 250 miles, 167 laps, give or take, Samuel Dyer? 2 hours, 20 minutes from now, we will know who the champion will be. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside. Samuel, you were right with us at the beginning of the year with Greg Rance and myself at Daytona with the Clash races. The season's over tonight. It's flown by, and now we have to decide who's going to be a champion. Your take on things here as we get ready at Vegas.
Yeah, I feel like that's been kind of the talking point all week, Wesley, is it's flown by. The year is coming to a close, and it's down to these final 4 drivers, Blake Peterson, Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., and Chris White. Tonight, it's all the pressure's on these drivers. Been notified. We're going to have a little bit of a smaller field than usual, but all 4 drivers are here, and that's all that matters. As long as they're all 4 here, the goal's still set. You got to make sure you're the furthest ahead finisher out of all 4 drivers, and you get the gold.
And it's very simple, like we had in the ARCA race on Friday night, Samuel, that you and I called here on LSRTV. By the way, we're also simulcasting on the Community Radio Network for the radio call of tonight's finale from Vegas. You know, if you're not at the finish line first as one of the final four drivers, that's okay. You just got to be that first driver of the four to cross the line. You do that, and you are a champion.
Yeah, that's how Ryan Bloom won it Friday. He was not the winner of the race, but he came into that night with so much confidence. I mean, you looked at all the other three drivers on Friday. Ryan Bloom was the odds-on favorite, got it done. And you look at the stats, you look at the four drivers we have racing here tonight, Wesley, you could say a similar thing to that of Lake Peterson. Very similar in the fact that he's going to be one of the favorites, but man, it's one of those things where all these drivers, they all kind of had pretty similar thoughts of they're confident, but all excited to make it to the Final Four.
All right.
I would have to say
Normally-
I'm pretty confident. I'm not going to say it's going to be just handed to me. I know if I just continue to do the things that led to a successful regular season and other playoff rounds, I know I have what it takes to bring home the win. I also know that I have really tough competitors that I'm going against, so I understand the challenge, but I'm also confident in my own abilities to get the job done.
I'm confident in my abilities. I just need to put time in, and I think we'll be a top contender, especially at Vegas. Vegas is a fun track, kind of what I'd consider in my wheelhouse.
I'm not a really confident person. I'm kind of a guy that that looks at results, right? I mean, I'm not going into it being cocky or anything like that. I'm kind of like just go into it and do the best I can. I feel like we've had some good runs, so we've got just as good a chance as anybody else.
Well, I've been at this a long time, Sam, with these guys. It's a tough bunch to race with, very competitive. And to be in the Final Four, it's an honor. And I'm going to give it all I got. I'm pretty confident. Las Vegas is a good track for me. But these other three competitors are very tough. I kind of slightly feel like the underdog here, but that's just going to give me that little bit more motivation to go out there and put the pedal to the floor and try to outdo these guys.
And again, there's just the thoughts of some of these drivers as they get ready to cinch in, battle, buckle up, and go here at Las Vegas. The Final Four here tonight, ready to go. As again, when this race concludes, one champion will be crowned. Samuel, you got a guy like Lake Peterson, and we've said this so many times. I've used this analogy. He is our young money of the Northwest Cup Series this year. He's dominated. I mean, done really good. Every time you see the 0-9 throughout the season, he's a threat to win or he's going to win. He's the number one seed. Remember the first round of the playoffs. He won the opening race at Indy. He took off the rest of the playoffs and said, I don't need to be here. I know I'm going to the next round. The next round, in the round of 8, to make it to the Final Four, Samuel, he has focused on being at every race. Now he's got a chance to win the championship. Your take on Lake Peterson? Sean Brightsman, also defending champion. What's it going to take for him also in a segue to be the back-to-back champion tonight too?
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about wins, Lake Peterson's top of the board. He's got 9 coming into tonight's race. And you look at some of the other stats that are out there, Lake's only shown up for 21 races and has 9 wins. That's almost a 50% chance of him showing up and winning. But it's the consistency that's got a lot of the drivers to where they're at now. And that's where you look at Sean Brightsman and Dan West Jr., both drivers that have finished in the top 10 practically every single race this season. For Dan West Jr., there's only been one race where he didn't finish in the top 10. For that of Sean Brightsman, he's finished in the top 10 every single time. And Sean Brightsman also comes in with the most top 5 finishes of all of the Final Four drivers. But you look at all of them, you look at the stats, Chris White, probably the biggest underdog of the 4.
Okay, Samuel, so all season long, we have picked who's going to win the race. Now the question is, out of 4 drivers, Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., Christopher White, Lake Peterson, who is your pick to be the champion?
Well, you can go with the easy pick, but I'm going to go with kind of an underdog pick. We saw him win this race in the spring. I'm going to be going with Dan West Jr. on the win here tonight. It might be one of the honestly, if you pick anyone but Lake Peterson, it's a stretch if they're going to get the championship done here tonight. But I just have an irking feeling. I picked Dan West Jr. a lot throughout the playoffs and whenever he shows up for races. But I just have this feeling that 55 team looks good to get a championship here tonight.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a good pick. He's a defending Truck Series champion as well. He's got a chance to go back-to-back on Wednesday night here at Vegas for the Truck Series Championship of the Northwest. But, man, as I scratch my eye and I start to settle in and I think about all the stats, I look at all the notes. You know, I'm a stat guy. You know, I look at statistics, Samuel. You're kind of like myself as well. Part of me wants to say this is the year of Lake Peterson. I want to say that. I wish I could say that, but I just don't think he's going to win tonight. I believe Sean Brightsman is going to pull a crazy Hail Mary hat trick like he's done several times before, and the 46 Brights Boutique entry is out of Tucson, Arizona, is going to be the back-to-back champion of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. That's my pick. I'm going with Sean Brightsman. You're going with Dan West Jr. And ironically, Samuel Dyer, they're a part of Team LSRTV.
Yeah, teammates are going to be doing well. But the one factor I don't think you've thrown in for Sean Brightsman, that's one of the probably the gutsier calls. I mean, coming in, you look at the stats. Chris White might be the underdog based off stats. But coming into tonight, you covered the race. Sean Brightsman just came off of a race just before this. He might be having to deal with fatigue as this is tied for the third longest race of the season. Sean Brightsman, that's a gutsy call on your part to go with him here tonight.
I think it's not a gutsy call. I think that was a nice warm-up for him. I think it's a warm-up for him to get ready for this big race because, honestly, you look at what we had at Chicagoland with the opening round of round one of the Trans-Service Blizzard Cup Series Winter Heat. You saw it here where Chad Coleman won on LSRTV just about an hour ago. Hey, listen, you ran 100 laps, 200 miles. You're going to relax, take a refresher, get a breather, come back, reset. 250 miles. I don't think Sean Brightsman's tired at all. I think he used that race as a strategy because Chicagoland is kind of similar to Las Vegas, if you will, honestly, Samuel, to help him for tonight. I'm not changing my pick.
I'm trying to get you to pick Lake Peterson. I gave you an open. If anything, I might switch if you're not going to take him. As that was, I mean, the fact that neither one of us took him. Maybe we're both thinking crazy here tonight that something wild is going to happen. But it's championship racing. You never know what's going to happen, Wesley. And I'm just excited on how these drivers are going to react. Chris White, we haven't really touched on him much. He's won it, at tracks that you expect him to win at. Here tonight, Chris White, he's got a lot of work. And I'm seeing maybe this 83 team could find a little bit more speed. But he is probably going to be one of the toughest nights for himself. But those top three drivers, Wesley, that we've talked about the most, gosh, they are so quick.
Quick break. We come back. We go to the lineup, and we go racing at Vegas next.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
You are looking live at the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway Championship night is upon us. The field is gritting on the front straightaway to go for the longest race of the year. And there's your LSRTV race information. 30-minute practice done. Qualifying is done. And now, Sammy D, 250 miles, 167 laps. And for four drivers, the one that crosses the line first, whether winner and champion, or if a different winner wins, they win the war as a champion. We await that here in about 2 hours.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's one of those races where if you're going to win the championship, you're most likely going to have to win tonight's race. And hearing a lot of these drivers talking about it, it is going to be a lot of pit strategies being thrown out. Fuel saving might be a key thing if this race stays green. But Wesley, with these Cup drivers, we've seen a lot of cautions throughout playoffs and during the regular season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple bubble up here tonight.
Greg Rance is chiming in. Put me down for the 83 of Chris White. Greg, we wish you could be here, buddy. It's been fun off and on joining with you to this series, this season. And hopefully you can come back and join us again next year. So Greg Rance, silent partner, picking Chris White. But there you see it. Lake Peterson on the pole. Dan West Jr., row number 1. That's for the championship here at Vegas. Row 2. Kevin Smith to the outside, Dennis Moore in 44. Row 3 tonight will be F. Staff now, Stefano Hare. Row 4 will find Chris White, one of the championship guys. Sean Breitzman is also there. My pick, he's in 8th. The row top 10 will find row 5, Justin Yee. He won the ARCA race here on, well, he come close to winning the ARCA race on Friday. James Viney, the top 10.
In row 6, we find that of Roy Grande as well as Dan Lather in the 63. Go back to row number 7, we find that of John Ottenbacher and Aaron Cooper in the 71. Row 8 finds that of Will Duvall II as well as Ryan Bloom, our ARCA Series champion, finishing out row number 8. Row 9 going to be bringing that of Eric Cheney and Tyler King. That Cheney's going to be starting on pit row. Row 10 finds BJ Titrick, Troy Daggett finishing out row number 10. In the last couple of rows going to be that of Scott Hutchinson and Frank Harris for that of row 11. And row 12, it's Russ Lundberg finishing out our 23 drivers here tonight.
We're ready for it. 4 drivers, Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr. Champion Sean Breitzman, he's back in black. They're all nestled in the top 10. The pace car is in. We're gonna go. Kicking the asphalt for you. We ain't done it in a while. We're Cup racing for the championship underway at Las Vegas. Green flag and virtual race. Cars in the grass, wrecking in the middle of the infield, and caution is out. Wrecking on the front straightaway at the completion of lap 1. Who was it? It's Roy Grande and Ryan Bloom, the ARCA Series champion. Stefano Hare's involved. Yellow flag on the opening lap, Samuel Dyer.
It all started with Lake Peterson up front on the inside. He's going to get loose through the center of 3 and 4, and multiple playoff and championship contenders involved in this thing. You're going to see the 09 gets loose off the corner, gets bumped by that of Kevin Smith, and then Sean Breitzman involved. But the big thing to watch out for, the 66, you see teammates of Ski Fleet Enterprise, Justin Yee, right into his teammate, and Lake Peterson might have to use a fast repair right from the start of the race.
And that is not good at all. Problems right out of the gate. Several cars involved, multi-car accident. Chris White, one of those drivers, Justin Yee, is onto the pit lane. And mind you, in the ARCA race, he had a really good run. Lake Peterson on the pit lane, Scott Hutchinson on the pit lane. What are you thinking, Samuel? Fill up the tanks just to try to have the tanks full to try to close in on not making so many pit stops? Your thoughts?
I mean, most of the guys that are coming in were all drivers that were involved in that wreck. I mean, you got Lake Peterson that was involved. Smith's got front end damage. That of Sean Breitzman got some side damage. Luckily for Sean Breitzman, I think he got the least damage from that incident. But for Lake Peterson, when he made contact with Justin Yee down in the grass, that was the hardest lick. And that could be one of those things that could force the 09 into using a fast repair early. And he has used it, Wesley.
He has used it.
So for the rest of the race, there is no safety net for this 09.
You know, I had a feeling there would be some crazy stuff here. And that is not good for the driver of Lake Peterson. the defending Cups, the man that's in the number 1 spot, defending Truck Series champion, your pick, Samuel, Dan West Jr. He missed all that. He's out in front. Dennis Moore. And I know we're praising guys. This is just the opening laps. But I got to say props to Dennis Moore. He has really turned some heads this year in Northwest ARCA truck competition. And Jeff Stabnow, the driver to Billings, Montana. It's been a pretty dismal season for the man of the 24. To finish on a high note with a win would be a nice way to cap off the season. Samuel, your take on those 2 drivers as the lights are off on the pace car, 1 to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last night really for Jeff Stabnow. I mean, second to last race for the Cup Series, and he's got the trucks on Wednesday, but this is the time to change your whole entire momentum for the 24 team. But for the 44, Dennis Moore, I actually talked with him a little bit before this race, just getting a sense of the non-playoff drivers, and was hearing from the 44 team, protect the rear right tire. That is going to be the most important thing for these drivers, so they've got to be careful getting back onto the throttle on the exit of these corners, and it's going to be a difficult race. Already early on, you got to see just on lap 1 how treacherous the exit of these corners can be for these drivers.
This is the Northwest Racing Series playoffs for the Cup Series and this championship race. Ready to go, ready to bring them back to the start. Round 32, 32 races this season. As the pace car getting ready to drop onto the pit lane. Here come the Warlords working their way through turn 4. Back to the start-finish line. Ready to bring them back to speed. Inside lane. It is Dan West Jr. He'll pull away. 1-2 car lengths as they flash by the start-finish line. Back to turn 1 over Stabnow, who's back to second, more behind him, Alpha 2.
Dan West Jr., though, yes, he's got a great launch. Yes, he's about 3 car lengths ahead of everyone else, but the thing you got to worry about, Las Vegas, with the way that this Cup aero package works, it's going to feel a lot like super speedway racing. It's going to be a lot of drivers on top of one another, pack racing at times. So if you get a big launch, you could be a sitting duck for the drivers who utilize the draft to catch back up to you.
And right now, they work their way back into 1 and 2. Now Moore bounces off Stabnow. Chris White is there. Greg Rentz, one of our broadcast colleagues, powering to the front. Keep an eye on the 83. West, Moore, White, Stabnow. Look at Cooper also in the top 5. There he is as they work their way off of the turn out of 4. Dan West Jr. pulling away. He's on a mission. He's looking for a championship. But there's still a long way to go with 160 laps to remain here at Vegas.
Yeah, and you can kind of see Chris White not wanting to be sitting in 3rd place. The biggest goal for a lot of these drivers that are in blue, our championship 4, is make sure you know which driver is ahead of you and keep them either in front of you or keep them in your mirror. You are always want to keep each other as close as possible as we go side by side. Take a look at how these drivers are running. As you can see on board with that of Jeff Stabnow, getting a sense of how we're attacking these corners in the battle cam for that lead position.
Back straight away, there you see Dan West Jr. and Chris White, 1 and 2. This is on board behind the 3rd place car. White and West in front of them of Jeff Stabnow. Dennis Moore on board with him. Cross the line. Here, kitty. White's after West as they go back to turn 1.
I know he's not up one of our championship 4, but want to give note, Will Duvall put down one of the fastest laps of the night, a 29.78 lap time for the 85 machine, as we see the battling currently for 3rd place, but a very fast lap for a driver that's only been racing in the Cup Series for just a handful of races, Wesley, showing the 85's got some speed here tonight.
Certainly are as they work their way back into the corner into 1 and 2. A lot of racing here left to go. They are nestled in, ready for this event. And it's still a long time to go to decide this race as they work their way to the back straightaway with West and White. There's more. There's also Lowther. Lowther trying to get up under Stabnow. Also closing in is B.J. Duvall. A dirt successor now moving to pavement. It's been some bad luck for the driver to West Virginia. Can he turn it around tonight? In the 85, they roar back into the corner. He's after Lowther to crack the top 5 at a 2.
And you can see how these drivers are really center of the corner. A lot of wigglings going on. Drivers are feeling the wind and how it is really affecting these cars currently, and the fact that they are just wobbling and holding on to dear life. As you see Lather right there in the bright green getting a little bit out of sorts off the corner, but up front it's Dan West Jr., Chris White that are doing everything perfect. Just make sure they're out of trouble and they continue to stay up front. As the other two championship drivers, they are working with one another to try to get back up front to try to challenge for a win here and a chance to win for a championship.
Still a long way to go, and there you see the guys right there for the championship. Ironically, first and second is West and White. 9th and 10th is Peterson and Breitzman. Peterson and Breitzman with some type of an accident in the race. And now at the start, they are fighting their way back through the field. As now Peterson is on the inside of James Vining. Breitzman giving the assist to Vining on the outside lane. And Peterson will now pull up alongside Breitzman, defending Cup Series champion, as they come back to the line.
In Lake Peterson, yes, you can tell there's a lot of speed in this 09. Very similar to how his spring race went. Qualified, got the pole, was Lake Peterson back in April when these drivers were here at Las Vegas at the beginning of the season, but did not finish up front. Lake Peterson had a lot of work to do for himself and actually finished, in the top 20. But one of those things that, you expect to see Lake Peterson always be up front. Las Vegas was a thorn in his side earlier in the season, hoping that it's not a similar thing here tonight. He finished 16th earlier this season, currently running in 9th.
Certainly in that 9th position right now, as we have West and White currently to the back straightaway. Lap 15 on, 14 completed. And this long race, probably the longest race of the year in mileage and laps. 250 miles, 167 laps. As there goes West. Had a little hit there from White. I thought White was going to try to get around about a 2. On the back straightaway, they go back to a single file. Here comes Dennis Moore trying to close in on those 2 cars as West and White to the bottom of the racetrack. Your aerial coverage presented by LSRTV. As right now they come to the Pennzoil starting box, back to the restart zone, and Dan West Jr. still out in front. Your pick, Samuel.
Yeah, Dan West Jr. kind of doing a similar thing that he did back in the spring. Dan West Jr. started second for that race. Yellow, though, in the back.
Caution is out, second time. Yellow flag. We got one down below the bottom of the racetrack. That's James Vining, the Cat Man. He was one of the championship 4 contenders in the ARCA series. And he finds the inside retaining wall out of turn number 3. Caution is out.
And you got Vining, Duvall both racing with one another, but you've got the championship 2. That of Lake Peterson forcing it 3 wide, and no!
Oh, no. Oh, no. Duvall wrecked again. Breitzman wrecked again. Okay, that's it. I'm changing my pick.
Well, you're stuck. You're stuck with your pick. You chose.
No, it's not halfway
my
yet.
Goodness.
That's not fair.
As we're going to ride on board with the Breitzman Boutique 46, Sean Breitzman, and get a sense what happened here. I mean, I don't think Vining was expecting Breitzman to continue to follow suit. But this is one of those, rare races, championship racing. Everyone is trying to move forward, and Vining just moves up, thinks that he's clear, and he's not.
I told you I didn't think it was over. I just did not think that this was going to be a good night for Peterson. I might have jinxed him. As Sean Breitzman. Maybe I shouldn't have picked him to win the championship. I might have done the announcer's jinx. I don't know. There might be a fast repair coming to the 46, and there is. He has used his fast repair on lap number 20. Remember that Lake Peterson used his earlier in the race on lap number 3. So right now, Samuel, 2 for 2 on playoff drivers for the championship have already used their fast repair in under 20 laps of the opening race.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the pressure is on for our championship 4 to run well, and also the pressure is on for all the drivers that are not racing for a championship to try not to influence how this race is going to go. And in that instance, James Vining just, thought he was going to make a smart move to keep himself from losing any more positions, but this is early, Wesley. You cannot be making late blocking moves, especially around championship 4 drivers. That is just, it's not a smart move from James Vining, but he'll try to learn from that experience and hope not to do it again. But yeah, Wesley, the fact that Lake Peterson and Sean Brightsman both have already used their fast repairs this early on, and they're still in the middle of traffic, is not a good sign for either one of those drivers.
It is championship night for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. Who will be the champion right now? Dan West Jr., Christopher White are out in front. Jeff Stabnow third. And again, as we mentioned, Sean Brightsman, defending champion of last year, and Lake Peterson, the man that's dominated this season, were wrecked on the opening lap. Wrecked again as Brightsman after an accident with Duvall and James Vining, when a bonsai move happened between the 333 going up in front of Peterson. And I got to give props to Lake Peterson, Samuel. He missed that accident. He could have got caught up in that again like Brightsman was.
Yeah, I mean, that was all Vining. I mean, Vining was clear from Lake Peterson. He just came up and was not expecting to see the 46 there. That was just a complete clobber that happened, and you could tell kind of what was going through the mindset. But yeah, Will also involved. Will still one of the fastest laps of the night. So expect to still see the 85 pressure his way through the field. But man, this changes a lot of, mindsets for the championship drivers that have lost their fast repair, because that safety net is gone and everyone else around you still have their fast repair and still can race very aggressive around you.
Laps in this time by, and what an interesting 20 laps it's been. Hey, in the chat box, we hope you're enjoying our coverage. Who are you riding with? Who's your pick? Who is your ride or die to win the championship? We thank you all for following with us all season long. Interact with us in the chat box. Let us know at LSRTV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As of course, the lights are off on the pace car. Dan West Jr. is the man from the pole. After Peterson had his issue, he started on the outside. He's been up in P1. Christopher White right behind him. Jeff Stabnow, good strong run in third, followed by also Dan Lowther, Aaron Cooper, Samuel. As the lights come off, they go back to the Pennzoil restart zone. They have had good runs tonight as well. Lowther and Cooper have.
Yeah, Dan Lowther and Aaron Cooper both have shown a lot of speed these last, here tonight at Las Vegas. And as well, you think back to 2 weeks when these drivers were at Chicagoland, so showing there's a lot of speed at the mile and a half for the 63 and the 71. We'll see how well they're going to test when you've got some very fast Skeet Fleet Enterprise drivers of the 09 and the 66 behind them.
Field will make their way back to the restart zone. Out of turn 4, West will go. Backing away is White. He lost ground. He's fell back to second now where Stabnow's at, looking for the bridesmaid position. And Dan West Jr., Stabnow, drifts up in front of Chris White for second. Cooper goes to fourth as they work out of 2. And Justin Yee's coming.
Yeah, you see Justin Yee, and Yee told us, back racing on Friday night, I just want to help Lake Peterson the best way I can. Was thinking about possibly, just being a crew chief. But here tonight, on the racing surface, already is bumped into his teammate on accident, forcing Lake Peterson to use a fast repair. At this point, Justin Yee just trying to help his teammate get a championship and get a win. As John Ottenbacher in the 89, very loose, Wesley, getting a little nerve-wracking as that 89 machine into one.
And there goes Peterson a little sideways here, trying to get around Cooper, trying to get around Lau. The Ottenbacher on the inside, the ARCA champion of the 25. Ryan Bloom is also there. 3 wide, they stick it as here comes Breitzman on the bottom. Breitzman below the apron, 3 wide, Bloom in the middle. The hot dog between the bun, the meat and the sandwich as they roar back on the floor. Contact! He's in the wall! Bloom's in the wall! The ARCA champion wrecked! He keeps going! He got some damage, but there's no caution. Wow.
They were 3 wide into turn number 1, and it was Dennis Moore that came down into Bloom and almost came right down into Sean Breitzman, but they continue to race on. But Sean Breitzman, he's still not clear because he's got Aaron Cooper and others almost attacking one another. But it's Dan West Jr., Wesley. He's got his LSR Racing teammate, that of Jeff Stabnow, currently in second, holding off Chris White.
Can you say save of the race right there for Sean Breitzman? And it might be for the championship. Wow.
I don't know if it was the save of the race or just lucked out, because Dennis Moore and also Ryan Bloom could have easily came down, overcorrected into the 46. Instead went into the outside wall to try to avoid any more carnage, and 46 at least able to continue racing on, and now cracking into 6, trying to get back into the top 5.
Back straight away. Breitzman back to the whip again. He's the defending champion. He wants to go back-to-back. I don't think anybody in the Northwest Series has won back-to-back championships in the same year. Bonsai down to the inside. Back up the racetrack. It's West again. Stabnow in second. And there you see White and Peterson. Breitzman inside, going after him as they go to 3.
Sean Breitzman, got to remember, he took tires on that pit stop, so he is on much fresher tires than the rest of the field. That's why he's able to make these aggressive moves, and it's sticking for the 46 as he has moved his way up, was all the way back to 14th on the restart, and now fighting for 3rd.
And just like you saw in the NASCAR Championship 4 finale at Phoenix a few weeks ago, won by Kyle Larson, West, White, Breitzman, Peterson in the top 5, all fighting for the championship, with also Stabnow in the mix. They're all at the front now, Sammy D, as we work closing in on lap 30.
And, you know, I don't want to put this over Jeff Stabnow, but I think for a lot of the drivers that are in the top 5, is Stabnow going to have any issues tonight? If there is something that goes wrong, will it be on pit road or on track? As for the battle for second, looks like that is Sean Breitzman able to make the pass for second and moving forward. But Wesley, we're starting to see a little bit of shuffling. Lake Peterson's got to be concerned because all the other drivers that did a similar strategy as that of Sean Breitzman, taking tires, they're moving forward.
It is West, it is Breitzman, it is Stabnow, it is White, it is Peterson. Top 5. And now Breitzman is climbing up to second to run him down. There's Stabnow, and there's White. And they're battling for 3rd and 4th. There's Peterson behind them. Dennis Moore, BJ Tidrick coming after 09. They cross the line. We're 30 laps in. And Sean Breitzman to the lead as they go to turn 1. Breitz Boutique, number 46, defending champion after having some trials and tribulations at the start of things. Twice, Samuel, the 46 is back to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, he's got the 4 fresh tires. Now, how far away, and if can Sean Breitzman pull away from the field behind him? If he can pull away, get himself a large gap, this is going to be massive for this team. Get fresh air, just avoid any other contact with other drivers. This is exactly what Sean Breitzman needs. But for Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, their plan still similar to what it was like before they were passed by the 46. Defend and hold off Chris White and Lake Peterson. Those are the only 2 drivers currently, and hope that the tire and fuel strategies work to the favor of the 55 if he wants to get a championship won here tonight. But that's if we stay green, Wesley, because we're starting to see little packs build up. We already are seeing second back to that of ninth place, all on top of one another. And then even behind them, there's a little group of 12th back to 14th. So these little pockets of drivers, these packs are building up. Easily, one driver can make a mistake, and we're under yellow again.
Hold your line. Stay in that position. As Stabnow's the third. Good run for the 24. Tidrick pulls behind him. Most recent win for him last summer. 2020 at Darlington. You don't think Tidrick wants to get back to victory lane? Verizon 72. Chris White to the outside. He's in the 83, one of the playoff guys. And now you have separated the top 4 in the top 10 positions for the championship. Brightsman first, White second. White is now 5th. Peterson up to 8th now. And they work their way to the line. It'll be lap 34 completed. And Sean Brightsman, not only that, Samuel, has pulled away from Dan West Jr., but as you mentioned, he had to pit. He took on new tires. He's a 1 second lead, and the car is fast over the rest of the field as Moore and White battle for that spot for 5th.
Yeah, it's an 18-lap difference on tires between Sean Brightsman and most of the rest of the field. The other drivers that pitted when Sean Brightsman did, B.J. Tidrick, as well as Dennis Moore. Those 3 drivers took tires. They're moving forward, as well as you could throw in the 41 if Stefan O'Hare took tires as well. So we're starting to see a resurgence of drivers that are trying to be a little bit off strategy than most, and these drivers feel like they're allowed to do so because of the amount of tire sets that were given, because of the extended laps that were placed on these drivers. An extra set was given to these drivers in pit road, so they came into the night with 4 sets of tires to work with whenever you felt like using them. And if this race had stayed green, there were talks that drivers could turn this race into a 2 or potentially 3 stop type of a night. So they had an extra set to have wiggle room with. So that's why we're seeing different drivers throwing it out. But you can see the damage on the 41, Wesley. No back bumper, but 4 fresh tires is allowing them to race up front and battle to possibly crack into the top 5.
Welcome to the championship finale race of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside. And they are hustling and tussling, and 3 wide. Hutchinson now. What a run for Scott Hutchinson. A little wiggle there as he goes back into the corner. O'Hare got caught up in a wreck earlier in the 41. He's back going again. Peterson and White, they battle. Here comes Tyler King of the 21. The Pills Manor in Orange's 21 machine to the inside, battling Chris White in his 83 Ford as they battle up the banks into 3. New contenders coming to the front, Samuel, as we approach lap 40.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is strategies. Half the field decided to take tires, the other half didn't. And now we're starting to see the drivers that took tires moving forward. And that's why we're seeing such as Tyler King and Hutchinson. Hutchinson's move, though, on Chris White, that almost gave me a heart attack with how close he was merging in front of the 83. Thought we were about to say 3 of our drivers don't have fast repairs, but luckily no contact was made. But White's got to be careful. He is racing very aggressive between himself, Tyler King, and soon to be that of James Vining. And also got to be careful of internet issues with the fact that he's dropping in and out for the 83 machine. That is not good, especially because, Wesley, we got reports Washington's been having some internet issues and power issues after a big storm went through. So drivers are getting concerned. Weather could be a factor for some of them being dropped out of tonight's race.
Yeah, we were being told that there was a widespread internet outage, in a power outage for that matter, in a lot of the Northwest. And here's the reason why we're racing tonight. The final 4 were able to connect to make the race. If there would have been a possibility that Brightsman, West, Peterson, or White could not run, it would not be fair to be able to try to run for a championship, especially due to a technicality that's not their doing. They were going to talk about possibly rescheduling this race, and they were talking about it possibly going all the way back to December, 2 or 3 weeks behind schedule. But luckily, all of the playoff championship 4 drivers were able to make it, and that's why as we approach lap 41 complete, Brightsman leading. This race rolls on as there's Dan West Jr. He's in third now, Samuel, as we hit turn 3 coming off the Nellis back straightaway.
Yeah, it was passed by our biggest mover of the night, BJ Tidrick, and now Dan West Jr. is under fire from potentially four drivers that have fresher tires than the 55 machine. And 3 of those 4 drivers that are coming up are Beaver State Racing drivers, Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, and Tyler King, all trying to put on a show here tonight. And honestly, this could be a preview, Wesley, of what we see for that of Wednesday night. Dennis Moore racing for a Trucks Championship, so trying to get as much experience in track time is the 44, even though he's not racing for a championship here tonight. Just gain all that knowledge that he can as Lake Peterson and also Chris White just out now. They're do-si-doing back there, trying to see who's going to be staying in the top 10 as James Vining lingers behind.
Lap 44, there is Lake Peterson. Boy, oh boy. He is the man with the bullseye on him. Obviously, the man with a plan to go to the championship. Be right there at the end. But mind you, Samuel, we still got a lot of racing left to go, buddy. I mean, we still do.
Yeah.
We're only on lap 45. 45 of 167 laps. You could say maybe some of these drivers have decided to be conservative and back off, play possum. It's not time to go yet. He's in the top 10. Your take on what Peterson's doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, Lake Peterson right now, he's on those older tires, same as himself, Chris White, and, as well as that of Dan West Jr. But for Lake Peterson, he's in a different spot than those other drivers that didn't take a set of tires. He's had to recover and move his way up through the field because of coming in, using his fast repair on that first lap incident that 09 was involved in. And so he's been just tearing up these tires, been super aggressive, carving his way through the field. And now he's starting to feel that repercussion of how much damage he's put on these tires. He's fallen back as he saw Scott Hutchinson down on the apron. Issues possibly for the 91.
Look at Hutchinson, champion spark plug 91 Ford onto the pit lane. He's going to make a unscheduled pit stop, I'm betting. And he had such a good run going for him earlier. He now falls back there, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Scott Hutchinson have early exits of a lot of these races here in the playoffs, and it could be a similar thing here where he had a great start the first quarter of this race and might be calling it a night for the 91 machine. Also, want to give note that Roy Grande has called it a night, going to be our first DNF officially. Eric Chaney never even started. Will Duvall back out on course, but Will 6 laps down, had to get damage repaired for that 85 machine.
Brightsman, Tidrick, West, there goes Duvall's car, as you just mentioned. Involved in an accident. He just simply said on social media in the broadcast, junked. He was junked, is what he feels. Hopefully, Duvall can get more seat time, maybe take advantage of the offseason. He wants to go after a Northwest Cup Truck Championship. He wants to win on this series. As Brightsman is the man out in front. Tidrick second, West is third. There's Moore. What a run for Dennis Moore. One of the Beaver State drivers we talked about, Samuel, and how they've greatly improved this 2021 season as we approach the finale here tonight in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them when it comes down to a fuel and tire strategy type of a race. The Beaver State Racing always on the top of the list of teams to watch out for. And, it's really been, you look at the teams that came into the playoffs, Wesley, you could say it was for the Cup side of things. It was Skeet Fleet, the Beaver State Racing, and that of, LSRTV Racing. Those 3 teams were the powerhouses coming into the playoffs. And for Beaver State Racing, they didn't perform as well as they wanted to, and none of their drivers were able to make it to the Cup championship. But hey, we got Dennis Moore there for the truck side, and that's where we've seen Beaver State thrive the most, is Lake Peterson, who's taken these last 5 or 8 laps to really cool down his rear right tire and just being patient, starting to make a surge now, trying to get by that of Tyler King.
King up the racetrack. There goes Peterson on the inside. Moore, O'Hare, front of them is Dan West Jr., so that's for 3rd through 7th. Right there, going at it.
Wesley, we've got to keep our eyes
Breitzman.
out on for fuel. Fuel is soon going to be an issue
yeah.
for these drivers. 10 laps away from our leaders potentially, or even in the next 5 laps, thinking about coming in to make their first stop of the night if they haven't already.
I was thinking to myself, definitely somewhere around that window, Samuel, is right now. Also, in addition to that, we're looking at Breitzman. He's opened up a 3.7 second lead now over BJ Tendrick, as right now we see Moore and O'Hare still continue the battle down the Nellis straightaway. Las Vegas, just outside of the city limits. That race goes on here as they work out of 3. Here comes O'Hare, caught up in an accident earlier at the start, reeling back in the 44. You're on board now with Dennis Moore. He's got cars around him. There's O'Hare. O'Hare now battling, trying to run down West. He's in that number 4 position. Nice smooth run. Look at that Hornet's Nest behind his rearview mirror, though, coming after him. He's blocking him left and right in the middle. To the back straightaway. Samuel going to 3.
Yeah, and the big thing is they're trying to defend and hold off Lake Peterson. I mean, Lake has been Mr. Speed. We've noted on it from the top of the broadcast. I feel like all season. Comes in with 9 wins coming into tonight. Looking for win number 10 in a championship for the 09 team. As well as with tonight's race, 11 pole positions, Wesley, in 22 race starts. Incredible to see. 50% of the races that Lake shows up for, he's going to start on the pole.
Yeah, that's just phenomenal, man. I mean, there's no other way of bragging about just what he's done, for sure. I mean, just, wow. Basically, 9 times out of 10, when he comes to run an event, he's on the pole.
It's just, you look at those stats, and it's he was the favorite coming in, but with that lap 1 incident, he's now kind of been put in a spot where you're just not sure what is Lake Peterson going to do, and will he be, whenever we see Lake Peterson up front leading the race early on, or whenever we get to closer to halfway and Lake Peterson's in first or second position, you just have a sense that he's going to win that race. But when Lake's in this position, running back in 5th, trying to fight to even just stay in the top 5, this is when we get concerned for the 09 team. And does he have enough power to get by these drivers that there's going to be a lot of teamwork? I mean, that of LSRTV, you've got Breitzman and Dan West Jr. both fighting for a championship for themselves. And both drivers, Wesley, have the chance to win both the Cup and the Truck Championship, the 46 and the 55. But at some point, they're also going to be very defensive, knowing, hey, if we could stop Lake Peterson, we could duke this out between ourselves.
Samuel, I'm a stat guy. You know that. And how many races did Kyle Larson win when he won Phoenix to win the championship last Sunday for NASCAR?
Wasn't it number 10?
The number 10. Guess how many wins Lake Peterson has going into the finale here tonight at Vegas?
He's got 9.
9. How cool would that be? 10 wins for Larson and Cup. And if Lake Peterson could win tonight and become the champion, the dominator of the season of the Northwest Cup, 10 wins, matching Kyle Larson. Wow.
That would be just incredible to see. I mean, you've deemed him the Kyle Larson of the series for, I would say, the whole entire second half, and see drivers out of pit road as pit stops underway. Chris White going to be the first of our championship 4 under pit road green flag pit stops for the 83. Jeff Stabnow, Kevin Smith, they both are also getting out of pit road. So pit stops already underway, Wesley. We're expecting a lot more drivers to come in periodically, as we still need to see Yee, Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr. Those are the drivers we're looking for next.
And you got to make sure you hit your marks. You can't be speeding, entering, or exiting pit road. You got to make sure you do not miss or bypass your pit stalls by a country mile or even by an inch. Everything has to glow flawless. if you want to be a champion. Here comes Dan West Jr., the number 4 seed pit stall of Christopher White just pitted, and now the number 3 seed in the points championship. Dan West Jr. is in. Pit stops. Blake Peterson is on the pit lane. Here comes the number 1 seed of the 09. Chevrolet onto the pit lane. Remember, no mistakes. You got to have a flawless pit stop. As green flag pit stops go on, Sean Breitzman, the other of the playoff contenders, is still on the racetrack. Tidrick, O'Hare, Moore, and King, top 5, and they've not pitted yet either. Oh no! Peterson overshot his pit box. You can't do that.
Well, you cannot do
Wow.
that, but Danner did something way worse, Wesley. Issues under pit road, I believe was caught with an unsafe pit entry. Dan West Jr. still in pit road and penalizes the 55 as he is now leaving. He was in pit road for 55 seconds. Now he's going to be multiple laps down is Dan West Jr., and he had done this during the round of 8 so many times in the truck series where he was up front looking like the dominant truck during that series, and then it was a mistake under pit, and it is carried over to the Cup Series for the 55 team.
You want to talk about drama? You want to talk about pressure? As we approach 100 laps to go in the season, in the championship race tonight at Phoenix, all 4 drivers in now some shape, way, form, or fashion have had some type of chaos happen in their quest for a championship. Wow.
I think the only driver that might not have had one is Chris White. I mean, White's been staying consistent, but he's the only one who really, he hasn't used his fast repair yet. He's been up front, but he's been under the radar, really, compared to everyone else. So the 83, that was kind of what happened. You know, Wesley, we look back to Friday night for the ARCA series. It was Ryan Bloom that didn't have a mistake that happened to him when he won the championship. Could it be Chris White? As Sean Breitzman still stays out. He can stay out for another about 10 to 12 more laps before the 46 has to come into pit road because he pitted back on lap 18. But got to be careful, especially with the fact that he's giving a lot of time to the drivers that have already pitted under green flag situation.
I think he's hoping for a caution flag, mind you. And yes, Chris White, we go back to the 83 as we see Peterson right behind him now in 7th position. They're both a lap down. They're right there with one another. There's White and Peterson. No, Chris White has not had to use a fast repair, but he's been in a lot of close moments that have literally made him have to have that moment. You know, because like there were 2 or 3 times in the start of this race where he almost got caught up in the accidents and he was able to avoid them. But right now, he sits in that comfortable spot outside the top 5. We will go side by side so you do not miss a thing. We're closing in on 100 laps to go on the race, on the season from Vegas with the Northwest iRacing Cup Series.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the Community Radio Network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
And we do want to thank Tom Denchel, Kevin Smith, Tom Denchel Automotive Group, for being a part of the Northwest Series this season. Hopefully they stay on board for years to come. Next year, hopefully it'll be bigger and better. They put up a lot of money for the champion, Ryan Bloom, the ARCA Series champion. He's in the back now in 18th, 3 laps down. West, 2 laps down. Samuel is back with us. Did you get more information on what happened to Dan West Jr.? What did he do in detail as we're 100 laps to go here in the race in the championship at Vegas? Details on the 55 there, Samuel.
Yeah, it just was an unsafe pit entry. Came in with too much speed, overshot where his pit entry was going to be, and missed the pit entry. So came in, got penalized, and now finds himself multiple laps down and in a worst case scenario for this 55 team.
Wow. And that's a heartbreak. The defending Truck Series champion trying to win a Cup championship in Samuel's pick. Now mired back 2 laps down. He is in a nice snake's patch hole, if you will. Still a lot of racing, though, left to go. We are about 10, 15 laps, or less than 10 laps away from halfway, coming up as they have now the 66 of Justin Yee. Samuel, Justin had a good run in the ARCA race, and then that just basically disappeared down the stretch whenever we had the winner there. And, of course, we saw the driver of Ryan Bloom lock up the championship. Your take of what Justin Yee's done here tonight, kind of being patient. He's right now comfortably in the top 10 and 8th.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Yee, you note on it, it was doing so well during the ARCA race, and here tonight, been a recovery for himself, pretty similar to the way that Sean Breisman has had to recover, and I mean, that had to recover like Lake Peterson, his teammate. So we're seeing that recovery going on, and we talk about, for Justin Yee, he's still looking to get a win this year, and really, he's only win that he's gotten was an ARCA at the Bristol Dirt Race. So we'll see if Justin Yee can come back. But the driver that beat him Friday night, Wesley, Sean Breisman, who's leading this race here tonight. But for the ARCA race, Sean Breisman started on pit road on accident, had to march his way forward, and found himself passing Yee with about 30 laps to go, and swiftly won the race as Beaver State Racing, all 3 drivers into pit road.
Here they come down to the pit lane. And remember, Ryan Bloom was able to win the championship, of course, at Vegas, and it was Sean Breisman. Remember, Sean Breisman won the race on Friday for ARCA. He's right back out in front now for the Cup Series, but it has not been a bed of roses or a pleasure cruise for him to get up there. And Sean Breisman now 4.6 seconds back on Tedrick. Beaver State Clan coming out of the pit lane. They'll exit. And there is Sean Breisman, Bright's Boutique, number 46, Chevrolet. He is in the Toyota. My apologies, in the Toyota. But I will say this, though, Samuel. He's in the back in black car. I love the teal green numbers on the wrap and a black car. Normally we've seen him in purple.
Yeah, he's been changing up during, we saw him running his generic Brad's Boutique scheme during the regular season. Then during October, he switched it up, was running a little bit of purple. And then here tonight, I love the fact that he's changing it up. Going to be in that of the black and teal for himself. So excited to see how well he's going to do. But in the pit road is the 46, and he's got to make sure he doesn't make the same mistake that Dan West did. Don't get caught speeding, as well as that of BJ Tittrick following suit with the 46.
And that will cycle back around to Lake Peterson, but he's got about 20 seconds to get back to the line. Sean Breisman at his pit stall. They're going to be right there with one another if he can have a good pit stop, a flawless pit stop as we approach halfway. The Toyota Camry of Sean Breisman's in. 2 tires on. Goodyear radials on the right side. Second can of Sunoco fuel going in. Jack down on the left side. Breisman down. Will he get him? Peterson will be the new leader. White, Breisman. Will he come down the scoring pylon somewhere in the top 5? He keeps going down but he's right there with the new man, Lake Peterson, in the lead in the 09. Wow.
Yeah, and Lake Peterson, Chris White, and most of the drivers were going to make the pass on Sean Brightsman over this pit cycle, especially to the end. But that's just because they had about 18 laps of fresh tires to try to gain all that time back. They were running about a second or to a second half faster than Sean Brightsman, so it makes sense why they gained all this time on the 46. Question is, with there now being a swap, Sean Brightsman having the fresher tires, how well can he start to climb his way back, try to come back and possibly pass that of Chris White and Lake Peterson? But we're going to take a full cycle to get there, which means we'll see what the difference is like when we see Lake Peterson and Chris White come to pit road around lap 105 to 110.
Round and round. All right. I was queuing up some Rat songs there for a minute. We're closing in on halfway as well. Peterson and White, 1 and 2. There is Christopher White. He's 1.2 seconds back. Working off turn 4.
Chris White, I'm very impressed with the fact that Chris White's been able to keep it as close as it is between himself and Lake Peterson. Lake Peterson has a 2-lap tire advantage over the 83 of Chris White. So Lake Peterson, yes, he got by that of Chris White, but keeping it close, meaning that Chris White can try to make the decision. He can try to undercut again, or hope that Lake Peterson might change things up, do a slight undercut so that the 83 can get a tire advantage over that of the 09.
Closing in on lap number 83, closing in on halfway as well here in a few more laps. As there you see Chris White. He's about 1.2 seconds back, trying to reel in Peterson. Obviously, Brightsman fell back to 6th. He's 8 seconds back to the leader of Lake Peterson. Dan West Jr., the worse for wear. He's 1 lap down. If a caution was to come out, he would get the free pass to come back on the lead lap. But again, only 2 caution flags in the early going. And since then, this has been a pendulum effect of up and down proportions as we are approaching again halfway in this race. The battle for the championship continuing here. And of course, we now bring you back upside of the broadcast booth as it is time for the Tom Denchel Auto Group mid-race report, the final mid-race report of the season. I'm Wesley Outland. Hope you're enjoying the race on your coverage of your home for sim racing. Samuel Dyer is down below. Samuel, the championship. Boy, what a wild first half we've seen. I don't think the fireworks are over yet.
No, I don't think so either. We've seen, the different trends that get thrown out, patterns that we get to see from these drivers is, especially on the Cup side, we've seen very few races have a long green flag run that go to the end. It's usually a wreck happens with about 30 to 40 laps to go that makes just the chaos ensue for these drivers, which wouldn't be surprised if a similar thing happens here tonight. But at the same time, we could see a long green flag run just because everyone racing here tonight understands it is all about the championship 4, where they race. And so for a lot of these drivers, they could be racing a lot more passive compared to one another. But if you look back to those first 2 cautions, Wesley, that we had, the aggression from Lake Peterson, got him loose, got him squirrely, was the catalyst of that first wreck that happened in a caution. And then you look to the second wreck that happened, James Vining just getting way too aggressive, taking out Sean Brightsman and bringing out that second caution. But since then, everyone's settled down. There's been a couple of scares here or there, but pretty good here tonight after we got done with those first 2 cautions and blips.
With the mistake by Dan West Jr., do you think he's mathematically eliminated now for a chance at the championship? And do you think any of these other drivers are still not out of the woods yet to decide who we can determine is going to be the champion of the 4?
I think he could be put in a spot like that. As we see the 333 James Vining come into pit road, that's the driver I'm most concerned about for that of Dan West Jr. Because if Vining can get back up to going, have fresh tires, he could possibly turn this 333 team into that driver that's the first a lap down, which would take away that lucky dog spot that Dan West Jr. is in right currently. So there, if anything, this 55 team needs a caution. Get back into this. That's the only way at this point, because if this race stays green, Dan West Jr.'s chances of winning gold here in the Cup Series will be snuffed out.
Are you not entertained?
I mean, you look at the first caution that happened, Wesley. I mean, there's no other way but to be entertained. You put two of the fastest drivers, last season's champion, the best driver of the season, both don't have a fast repair. In the first 20 laps of the race, they're already on the off foot. So hey, I'm excited to see how this race is going to end. The first half, dramatic in the first part. And we'll see if the ending of tonight's race is clean and green or if we get back to that chaos that we've seen before.
And with that, this has been your final Tom Denchilada Group mid-race report of the season here from Vegas. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now we get ready for the second half here at this exciting mile and a half to determine who the winner will be. There is Dan West Jr. We just talked about him. Right now, he's one lap down. Vining is still pitting. He might be more laps down, and Lundberg is also a lap down as well. So right now, Samuel, Dan West Jr. staying in that number one spot. But here we go. Look at this. For second, Breitzman. He's ran down Christopher White. He's cut the lead to 1 second. 2 seconds now on Peterson. He sees his rear view as he goes back into 1 and 2.
And this is exactly what Sean Breitzman wants to see. The fact that he is caught up to Lake Peterson and Chris White before lap 100 or 105, before these other drivers have to make their final stop. This is perfect for Sean Breitzman, because if he's ahead of these drivers before they come into pit road, that means at the end of the cycle for these drivers in those final 15 laps, if we stay green, Sean Breitzman could be in a position to win the race at the end.
Breitzman is up there. Breitzman is in a cat's whisker to try to pull the upset on Peterson. He's closed the lead to now 3/4 of a second. Peterson, Breitzman, White has fell 2 seconds back to the leader. Sean Breitzman, he's humming here, kitty, kitty, after Peterson. Reeling him in like bait on a Pulse Popper's fishing lure hook as we approach lap 110 after halfway, the second half of the race. Look at this, Samuel. Faster, faster, faster. Here he comes.
I mean, you look back, right, Wesley, to when Sean Breitzman's about to make this pass for the lead. Easy. I mean, 18 laps,
Boom.
17 laps, laps, better tires than Sean Breitzman. And Wesley, the last Sean Breitzman went into pit road back on lap 78. He was 9 seconds back. In less than 20 laps, cut down 9 seconds and is back to the lead, pulling away.
As the field works their way back across the start-finish line again, Sean Breitzman is back to the lead. And as you said, Samuel, he is pulling away from Peterson like just a deer in the headlights. Peterson blindsided by Sean Breitzman. Man, I had a feeling he's right now up in the front spot. And remember, both of these drivers have used their fast repair in the opening 20 laps of this race, Samuel. So remember, they're going to try to race as smartly as they can. Maybe there's some give or take now, as now Peterson and Breitzman pass the ARCA champion of Friday night, Ryan Bloom in 25.
And right now, in the next about, I would say, 5 laps, Dan West Jr. needs a caution. If he does not, Troy Daggett is the next driver in line to go a lap down. And if Troy Daggett goes a lap down, Dan West Jr. would be the second car a lap down and would be forced, if a yellow came out, to do a wave around. But there's never an absolute that every driver would come into pit road that's on the lead lap, which could lock the 55 out. So this is a very important 5 laps that these drivers are going on currently, as if Troy Daggett goes a lap down, this could be the nail in the coffin for Dan West Jr.
Closing in on under 70 laps to go here on this race for the season and the championship for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. Tom Dinchell Automotive Group. The trucks will be here for another 250 miles on Wednesday night. Samuel and I will put a cap on the season for all of them. And we'll come back in March, I believe, February, March of 2022. We will enjoy this nice little off-season break, but honestly, Samuel, the season flew by, and just as fast as the season flew by, my friend, it'll be season 3 for the Cup Series, season 9 for the trucks, season 2 for ARCA, and there'll be another opportunity for some drivers to etch their name in iRacing virtual history to try to be champion.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bunch of different talking points of what's going to happen with this Cup Series. Well, are they going to stay with the current Cup car, go to the next-gen car? Are they going to go to Xfinity?
I enjoyed the
There's a
next-gen race
lot of
earlier.
different. There's a lot of talking points they're going to go over this offseason for this series, but this potentially, you never know. We could see these Cup cars again, but this potentially could be the last night that we see the Cup cars, this gen of the Cup cars, for a long time.
I will just say this. Earlier tonight, we had the Next Gen Cup race with the Trans-Service Sim 500 League Trans-Service Blizzard Cup Series from Chicagoland. Chad Coleman came out of nowhere on the last restart in overtime and won the race, but that race with 43 cars did not disappoint. And it was with the Next Gen Cup car. I was very pleased, as well as colleague John Muschin Jr., with how things turned out. Was we're on lap 100 just a lap ago. We're at 66 laps remaining down the stretch for the race, for the season, for the championship. And Breitzman, Peterson, White are 1, 2, and 3. Dan West Jr. needing a prayer, needing a caution, needing a wish right now. But now also Troy Daggett goes a lap down in 51. And as you said, Samuel, if a caution was to come out, Daggett would get the free pass, unless he was the car that brought out the caution in 51.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing, as Troy Daggett is gone a lap down. Dan West Jr. is the second car a lap down currently, as Dan Lather, you see on our ticker, is in pit road. We'll see if Dan is done or not. Update for James Vining, as well as Will Duvall and Aaron Cooper. All 3 of those drivers have called it a night for themselves. So we're left with only 16 drivers currently that are on track. Take that back, 17 drivers on track. So we're seeing just a few drivers left, but with Troy Daggett going a lap down, Wesley, Dan West Jr. trapped, concerned if he will get himself back onto the lead lap and be able to challenge for a championship. But an update for these drivers, there was a lot of concern on fuel. Where could they stretch themselves out? If these drivers want to turn this race into just one more stop and they're done, they have to get to at least lap 112 or more. They cannot pit on a lap 111 or 110. They will be very close on fuel if they try 111, but if they are saving that much fuel, they will probably not have a chance to even go for a win based off our Championship 3. Sean Breitzman's good to be making it that distance. Like Peterson and Chris White both are good to make it to at least that 112 marker. They should be able to at least push it to 114. But if Chris White wants a chance to win this championship, he has to make sure he pits either on lap 112 and just is aggressive, or hopes that maybe Lake Peterson will do an undercut and pit before him.
Breitzman, Peterson, and White, 1, 2, and 3. West in the back, as you mentioned, 14th spot, 1 lap down. Daggett, that car right there, is the car that will get the free pass if a caution was to come out. He's at the 51. Lake Peterson just passing him. Peterson 2.67 seconds back to Brightsman and still losing ground. Chris White is almost 6 seconds back to Brightsman. And we're closing in on 60 laps to go.
I mean, Wesley, you were there in the booth helping cover last season and the way Sean Brightsman won that championship and the heroics to even get to that point. I mean, thinking about Sean Brightsman and trying to become a back-to-back and the only driver in the Northwest
2 seasons.
series.
Right. Yep.
I mean, the only Cup champion potentially.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Nobody has ever won except Sean Brightsman. He won season 1 last year. And he's looking good right now to the back straightaway. I just had a feeling, Samuel. I had a feeling him taking advantage of that Sim 500 Blizzard race that he ran with the Trans-Service Cup Series earlier tonight. You look at Las Vegas, you look at Chicagoland, you look at the layout. The track similarity is used to 1.5 miles. Vegas, 1.5 miles. Chicagoland, 1.5 miles. The only difference was Chicagoland was daytime. Vegas tonight, under the lights.
And now we're in that zone, Wesley, for these next 5 to 6 laps. It's going to be so important for Lake Peterson as well as for Chris White. When do they come into pit road? And do you make a mistake coming in, sliding through your box? You saw Lake Peterson slide through his box, costing him some time. Can't make that mistake again. Can't do what Dan West Jr. did and be caught with speeding or an unsafe pit entry. It is all about perfection and hoping that when you come in that no caution happens, because if these drivers are caught a lap down, this would be demoralizing for themselves.
Samuel, what about Brightsman? Do you think Brightsman's going to pit when they pit, maybe the next lap later, or do you think they're waiting for Brightsman to come down to the pit lane and he'll change his strategy up?
I mean, if I was Brightsman, I would let Lake Peterson, see whenever Lake and also Chris White come into pit road, and let them drive for a lap or 2, maybe even 3 laps, and then come in. You don't need to stretch it out as far as you have to. He's got all the time as Kevin Smith into pit road, but Sean Brightsman's got, a 17-lap buffer of whenever he wants to come in after, Lake Peterson comes into pit road. So there is Sean Brightsman's in the catbird seat leading this race, and also whenever he wants to come into pit road.
There's Kevin Smith from Hermiston, Washington. His Tom Denchel Automotive Ford. We haven't mentioned him a lot tonight, but currently he's in the top 15. He's now pitting. Here comes Justin Yee, teammate to Peterson. He does not pit with Lake Peterson. He's under his own strategy. At the 66. Oh, he overshot his pit box. Backed up an inch. Lost maybe a second or 2. He's on the pit lane. Well, we said around 112 pit stops would begin, and here they go. 2 laps later, the question is, as now White has fell back to 5th, Moore and Tidrick 3rd and 4th. When will they pit? Here comes Frank Harris, Ford Performance, number 11. He's had a solid run of the top 10. Was one of the final 4 in the ARCA Championship on Friday at Vegas. Won by Ryan Bloom. West is now, let's see, now we only have what, 8 cars on the lead lap? 8 cars now on the lead lap.
Yeah, and right now, for that of Harris and Yee, they're expecting it. Smith all expected to get back onto the lead lap once this pit cycle goes through, but that's also banking on if this race stays green. I mean, there's always that looming factor of there's one driver making a mistake, and it could bring out a yellow and change this whole entire complexion of where these drivers lie, as Dan West Jr. still trying to figure out how to catch up to catch up to that of Troy Daggett, as we see O'Hare and White side by side. This is for position for 5th place. Wesley, this is it's all that pressure always comes in, and throughout the regular season, we always talk about there's skill. Yes, there's that. There's always luck. But sometimes there's just that clutch factor that some drivers just are born with. And Sean Brightman showing that he's got that clutch factor currently as Jeff Stabnow into pit road.
Stabnow had a pretty good run earlier. But he's back onto the pit lane now, the number 24 machine. And he's in 8th. So right now, 7 cars on the lead lap. If Stabnow goes a lap down, Peterson and Brightsman are now again. Here comes Chris White, giving up a top 10. He's on the pit lane. Could this be the money stop, Samuel? The 83's in.
Yeah, this is the money stop. They are inside of the window, making it from here on out. And Chris White, a little frustrated on the fact that he could not stretch it out further than Lake Peterson. He did come in 2 laps sooner than Lake Peterson that last on their first green flag pit stop. But for Chris White, at this point, he's coming into pit road, getting service done, as Dennis Moore and others following suit. But he's the first of our top 3 that are racing for a championship. And it's just, when you're the first driver coming to pit road, you're banking on everyone else just making mistakes coming into pit road, because you're going to be caught, especially with how much time's left in this race.
Closing in on lap 120. Next time by, there's Tendrick, and here comes Peterson. Peterson is in. He is into his pit stall. The 09 does not need to make mistakes. And mind you now, Samuel, only 2 cars, my friend. 2 cars on the lead lap. That's it.
Lake Peterson able to get tires, and now, I talked about it. The ball is now in Sean Brightsman's court. When and does he decide to come into pit road? Because with how large the gap was between himself and Lake Peterson, Sean Brightsman could wait about 3 or 4 laps, then come into pit road, have 3 or 4 lap fresher tires than the 09, and be right on Lake Peterson's back bumper. So there wouldn't be that much of a loss. But it looks like oh boy, Sean's coming with he's coming with a head of steam.
Oh,
it
no,
might
did he
get
get
caught
busted
speeding.
for speeding? He might have got busted speeding. Oh, man. Mistake of the year. Could cost him the championship. We got to find out on the 46.
We're going to have to just wait. How long does he stay in the pit road? If he's in his pit box for longer than 15 seconds, he has been busted for speeding. Tires are up.
Boy, this is close. We'll find out. We await 4 tires and fuel. Pit stop is in. Will he be okay? Will he pull away? That's the question right now. He's good. He's good. Oh, my goodness. Boy, that gave us a scare. It's hashtag fake news, though. Brightsman, no penalty.
And because
he's back out.
He came in a lap later than that of Lake Peterson, meaning Sean Brightsman's going to be keeping primarily most of that lead that he had over Lake Peterson, and everything that Lake did trying to do an undercut. Same for Chris White. It was for nothing.
I'll just say this much. Sean Brightsman just pulled the luckiest pit stop in the world over everybody, like what Kyle Larson did in Phoenix 2 weeks ago. That pit stop got him the championship. Sean Brightsman and this pit strategy, these Hail Mary calls he makes, Samuel, gets him championships. And this might have just locked him up back-to-back, only champion of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series just a few moments ago, as that Toyota came to the pit lane as the leader, exited as the leader, and now he's pulling away from everyone else as well, back to 1.
Hey, he's going to do his best to try to pull away. It might be just trying to save his tires currently is that of Justin Yee, Lake Peterson. Both still right there. They're still within about a second and a half. Both Ski Fleet drivers, and they're just riding currently, trying to see if they can gain any more time. Justin Yee pitted back on lap 112 as Lake Peterson pitted on lap 119. So we might see a swap between the drivers, just trying to give the position to Lake Peterson. But they're going to do their best to try to draft, utilize their speed with one another on the straightaways to try to catch up and keep at least close to Sean Breitzman. We'll see how well Sean can do here, but you can just see the difference in speed.
Inside,
and that
there he goes.
He just giving up that position.
He let him go. He said, man, it's for you to win the championship. I'm going to let you go. And that's what teammates are for. Sometimes teammates are better than foes. Actually, they are. But sometimes your friends, your teammates will turn on you. The only question is when. Not tonight. Justin Yee said several times, if Peterson's around me and I can give him the help, I will. He's done just that. Friend, not foe, for the Bumblebee clan. As here comes Peterson running down Breitzman for the lead. Peterson might be a little bit quicker there, Samuel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the big thing right now is Lake Peterson is just full send. He is not caring about his tires. He's seen the fact that he can try to make a pass on Sean Breitzman now, but there's a risk to that because there's still coming up to 40 laps to go that you need to make sure these tires can last for. And sure, you can try to make the pass on Sean Breitzman, but Breitzman's got 2 lap fresher tires and has not been pushing at all. He's been very lenient, letting the race just come to him. So Sean Breitzman's playing that opossum game right now.
This has not been Sean Breitzman's first rodeo. I can promise you that. And he is definitely knowing what strategy game to pull. As he is right there just saying, okay, I'm in the lead. You want to come after me? You want to pass me? Go ahead. And this is what will happen. I'll call his shot. If Peterson gets around Breitzman, Samuel, Breitzman will still stay within a cat's hair of the 09. He's not going to let Peterson pull away. And remember, those tires are still fresh on that car 46. They've not been able to run his fastest laps yet. So that's something you better think about as well, too. I think they're both right now just kind of idling, if you will, not showing their full send as we approach 38 laps to go this time by when they come out of 4. They're side by side for the lead.
Yeah, for Sean Breitzman, he cannot just let Lake Peterson take this lead position. Just use up your tires a little bit more. You cannot allow this 09 to be in front of you and utilizing the dirty air, but they are keeping it close. A little bit of side drafting as well, as we're going to be seeing that of Sean Breitzman trying to keep it close. Gets right to the side, which is slowing down the 09 into the corner. And now they're pinching through the corner. Lake Peterson trying to keep it as close as possible, not allowing the 46 to get back onto the throttle as soon as he wants, which is keeping them dead, even with one another across the line there, Wesley.
Certainly is, as they go back up the racetrack into 1 and 2. Breitzman on the inside. Peterson is on the outside for the championship, for the race. Back straightaway. Breitzman, defending champion, like Chase Elliott of last year in the Cup Series. Kyle Larson, the champion this year. The man that's been the top driver, Lake Peterson, and they're leaning on one another. Nobody's backing down. Side by side. 1 lap Peterson, 1 lap Breitzman. They send it in the corner, almost rubbing fenders into 1 and 2.
Sean Breitzman gets the apron. Neither one of these drivers can make contact. They've both already used their fast repair in the first 20 laps. If they get any damage, this could be costly for both drivers.
Nobody backing down, though, for the race, for the championship. So much more on the line. Peterson, Breitzman back on the bottom. A little wiggle there on the bottom of the racetrack. One moment it's Breitzman. Next lap it's Peterson for the championship. Are you kidding me? This is what it's all about at Vegas out of turn number 2 for the Northwest Cup champion title.
We wouldn't want it any other way, but Sean Breitzman still keeping it close. And the big thing for this 46 team of Sean Breitzman on the inside, he is pressuring. He is forcing Lake Peterson to get back into the throttle sooner. Use up those tires even more than what he was doing before. But the big thing for Sean Breitzman, he cannot make those moves. He keeps on touching the apron through the center of the corner, which pushes him up. And they're squeezing and rubbing off one another through the corners. This could be disastrous in just one blink of an eye.
One wrong move, one wrong slip, 1 or 2 could be out of it. And then in the inside, here comes Breitzman. Look at this. Breitzman and Peterson, door to door, all season long. So many thousands of miles and trips virtually from tracks to road courses, short tracks, intermediates, cookie cutters, from Florida to now Nevada at virtual Las Vegas. And for the championship, they battle it out as they approach now, closing in. And there's lap traffic also in the way. Breitzman and Peterson. Here you go. Are you not entertained as they work out of 4? My goodness, what
It's
a
John
race.
Ottenbacher. It's LSRTV Racing. Will he move up and try to be a pick to slow down? He's going to be giving the draft
He
there to
will.
Sean Breitzman. And John Ottenbacher to the outside. He'll go 3 wide, going through 1 and 2.
He gave way. He said, have at it, boys. He gave courtesy to not only Breitzman, but also Peterson. Attaboy for John Ottenbacher. Side by side. You don't think he knows what's on the line here, Samuel, for the championship?
Oh, no, they contacted!
They go around! Peterson goes around! Breitzman goes around! They spin in the grass! Peterson keeps going! No caution! Breitzman to the lead! Breitzman to the lead!
Chris
And
White
Justin
leading
Yee
this
now
thing.
lead. Oh my goodness!
No yellow came out. We
Wow.
stayed green, even with those two. Hard racing. They both didn't have fast repairs, and they wreck each other. Coming to 30 laps to go, and now Chris White in 3rd is leading our championship 4.
Chris White. Chris White out of nowhere because of the battle, the slip between Breitzman and Peterson. Chris White is now in the catbird seat. The under is now the top male on lap number 138, the 83. He just needs to stay where he is at. He is a champion. A slip, but Peterson dusts himself off, shakes off the cobwebs. He is on a mission now to run down the 83 of Chris White to try to win the championship. My goodness, Samuel. Wow.
Hey, we just saw, Lake Peterson and Sean Breitzman wreck for the lead. We might see it again with BJ and Justin. They are wrecking each other again. Yee into the wall, coming out of turn 2, and BJ Tidrick's got to be careful here.
You don't think Tidrick wants to win a race? You don't think Tidrick wants to win? He ain't won since Darlington of last year. Justin Yee, he knows the success Peterson's had. He's like been second fiddle to Peterson. And the 66 wants to show that he can win. But meanwhile, here comes Chris White inside, clears by Yee. Stabnow comes with him. You don't think Stabnow wants to win? He's had a boring season, a dismal season. Could Stabnow end the year on a high note with a win for the driver to Billings, Montana? Closing in on 27 laps to go for the race, for the season. At Vegas, here they come across the line with Tidrick leading.
Wesley, have you ever been in the booth and have you seen Jeff Stabnow win a race yet?
The last time that I announced a race that Jeff Stabnow won was Quebec Corner, the road course race. He struggled even as the leader, but he won it. That was last year. I believe it was in October of last year. It was the last time I saw Stabnow win a race.
I mean, you just look at the drivers that are here up front. BJ Tidrick's got the freshest tires. Next closest with fresh tires is Chris White in 2nd. Then Jeff Stabnow. For BJ Tidrick and Stabnow, both looking to get their first win this season in the Cup Series. And it's all on the line. I mean, I don't even know if Chris White really wants to get aggressive here and try to race for a win or just stay stable because Lake Peterson, yes, he's in 5th place, but is damaged and based off his last lap, running about a half a second slower than what Chris White's running.
I don't think he could catch him.
No.
He's losing ground as the lap car of Daggett passes by Peterson. He was almost 5.2 seconds back, and now this time by, he is 7.27 seconds back and fading. If White holds his line, Christopher White is going to pull an upset and be the champion of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. And honestly, he just stayed out of harm's way. He waited to pounce like a coiled cobra, those two alpha males were battling between Brightsman and Peterson. No one was backing down. And now the opportunity awaits for White with under 25 laps to go, Samuel. Wow.
That's the thing. There's still 25 laps to go. I mean, it's one of those things where these drivers still are eyeing. There's that potential of a caution that could wave at any moment. And if that happens, right now in the lucky dog spot is Dan West Jr., who's in 9th currently.
And by the way, Sean Brightsman is 1 lap down as well. There is only 8 cars on the lead lap. You see the drivers in blue that are the 4 for the championship. And White is the top dog. There he is in the middle left of the monitor, coming back at you off of 4 lap cars in the way. Tidrick and White, as Tidrick is also trying to be the man to win the race. He wants to win. Audenbacher, lap car. He's out of harm's way. And Samuel, you got to give props to John Audenbacher. He did not get in the way between Brightsman or Peterson. As boy, Audenbacher gives Tidrick a punt in the pants. That's a lap car. Punting the leader as they came out of turn 4.
Just giving a little bit of a friendly bump into the corner of turn 3. Not the best place to give a driver a bump. Kind of give you a little bit of a scare, but yeah, I mean, John Audenbacher, he did his best to kind of help that of Bridesman the best that he could, as well as getting out of the way. And he just threw it out there. The 2 alpha dogs, the 2 most winningest drivers of the season. First, that of Blake Peterson with 9 wins, Sean Bridesman with 5 coming into today's race. They both wanted the win so bad that they wrecked each other with 30 laps to go. And that's just crazy to think that they threw away their championship race when there was still so much of racing action to be left. 20 laps to go, and Chris White is just in cruise control because the other 3 drivers have made catastrophic mistakes.
In the catbird seat is now Chris White. Tidrick is the leader. BJ Tidrick in the Verizon number 72. He has not won a race since June of last year, and I will never forget that one as well. I don't think our producer ever will. I know Justin Prince and Greg Rentz won't either. I was on pit road as pit reporter for that Cup broadcast on a Monday night, just like tonight, and there was an internet iRacing failure where people were just dropping off the server like flies, and then the race got halted for about a 45-50-minute delay. When it resumed, Tidrick got out in front on a restart, and he never looked back. His only Northwest iRacing Cup win was at Darlington. I understand, Charles. I feel your pain. But who wants it more? Because here comes Chris White. And Samuel, stab now. You don't think he's hungry? You don't think he's licking his chops like a buffalo in Montana right now, ready to come after those guys, looking for a win to end the season? They do have buffaloes.
I mean, I think for Jeff Stabnow, yes, he's going to keep it close, but I don't see Stabnow trying anything to ruin, a championship driver's race. At this point, everyone is just where they lie. If we start to see White feel, he wants to get frisky and race for a win, then I think we'll see our whole entire top 3 really battling with one another. But currently, I think all 3 mindsets for our top 3 is just let's just survive as we've watched our 2 drivers that were dominating, and we're going to win this race easily. It was going to be between that of Blake Peterson or Sean Bridesman. Take each other out, and now, hey, we'll take our top 3 finish. We'll just ride where we're at.
I hope our producer takes that clip and sends it into iRacing, because that deserves a national top 10 moments of November for sure. No doubt about it.
I don't know if it would be a top 10. It would be a part of the not top 10 list that they do. That is the list that I would put that in. That was not a top moment. That was terrible by both drivers. That was the worst thing you could have done.
Well, I guess opinions vary on that one. I mean, I could just find. I understand it's not a top 10, but I would say it was a top 10 as a highlight, because a crazy battle between these guys fighting for the championship, and then it came down to that. So,
it just,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that just
Why
it
couldn't they have
doesn't make
saved
sense.
that for the end? Is
They-
what we were talking about for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 40 laps to go. You're side by side racing. It makes sense that you're doing that. You're trying to pressure for that a bridesman. You're inside trying to. Well, I mean, it's baffling, and you got to be thinking: do these drivers? Did they have crew chiefs or spotters in their ear telling them, "Hey, think big picture"? If they didn't, that makes sense because drivers will do silly things when they're in the heat of the
You want to
moment and
rub up
they'll
on me?
race
I'll
as hard
rub
as
up
they
on you,
can.
fella.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
and just like that, they threw it away.
Oh. And these cars get tighter and tighter and tighter as our watching Jeff Stab now. He tells us that those cars get tighter and tighter. We knew they were going to start pushing up and getting tighter and tighter right beside each other was not the good ingredients to happen. By the way, the winner of the championship, which unofficially it's looking to be Chris White with 13 to go, and Ryan Bloom will be joining yours truly on our Fox Sports Radio show, iHeartRadio and Community Radio Network Finish Line Wednesday. Also joining some of the great guests, including, how about this lineup, Samuel? How about it? You've got Josh Berry joining us. In addition, Tony Black is joining us. Stuart Friesen. You've also got Lee Jeffries and Stuart Friesen joining us. We've also got my buddy Brent Marks from the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars series on the program. What a guest lineup to have. Finish line. Luke Finhouse was also announced the Alan Kawicki Driver Development Champion. I've reached out to him. Some of the guests, 7 in a row, should be a good one. And they will be live on Finish Line to talk about their season. Chris White awaits an interview, not only tonight, but for national attention with 10 laps to go. This time by, as the man in the 83 Ford is holding his line, Samuel.
Yeah, I don't even want to say anything now. We were praising Sean Bridesman winning it for those first, the final 60, 50 laps of this race, and then he got he wrecked
shock.
out with Lake Peters. I don't even want to say anything to jinx Chris White, but man, has it been a run here tonight of seeing, the different trials, tribulations that have gone on with all of our Championship 4 drivers, and seeing that we could see with the laps that are ticking away, the way that the timing and scoring's going. Seeing 2 of our Championship 4 drivers currently a lap down, one because of contact between another Championship driver, the other because of a mistake under pit road. Oh my goodness. And it's, I still, Chris White just surprising us each and every week. He was under the radar, the underdog coming into tonight's race. You looked at his stats and you're just thinking, this is good enough. This is good enough to get to the Final 4, but does he have enough to win the championship? And he needed some help, got the help. And you look back at the way the season's gone, Wesley. I mean, he won at Charlotte during the regular season. Then during the playoffs, he won at Indianapolis Oval, fending off Caden Anderson and others. And then finds himself being consistent in the round of 8 to put himself here for a shot for a championship. And coming to 7 laps to go, Chris White in second place just has to be in cruise control as his other 3 competitors are nowhere to be found.
Final laps remaining. Tedrick, boy, how excited is he going to be? Finally, a win. A win. If he can hold on to the Nella straightaway to the backstretch. 7, 6 laps to go. Stab now. He's in third. Since the craziness that happened with 30 laps to go between Breitzman and Peterson racing for a win in the championship and throwing it away, these 3 have been playing literally possum and stay nose to tail, practice virtual social distancing, and just enjoy the moment, Samuel, with 5 laps to go next time by. Tedrick is going to go back to victory lane. Stab now is going to have another decent podium finish to give himself high hopes for next year. And for Christopher White, he is about to win the championship of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series.
Yeah, and you look at these drivers and the way they're running. 5 laps to go. Wesley, we look at our top 3 currently. It could be a completely different picture after the way last week went. Sean Bridesman winning, locking himself in. He was outside looking in going into that of Homestead. And another driver that was outside looking in, it's the driver, our leader currently right now. BJ Tidrick almost made it to the Final 4. He had too many points back, wasn't able to point his way in. That went to Chris White. But imagine if we were seeing right now, it was that of Chris White and BJ Tidrick right now battling for a championship. Instead, BJ's looking for his win, and Chris White just waiting and hoping to get a championship.
4. Now make it 3 laps to go for the championship. Tidrick and White. Same scenario as on Friday night with ARCA, when Sean Breitzman won the ARCA race. Ryan Bloom won the championship. Now, Tidrick is out in front. White is in second. Here comes Stabno, though. Jeff Stabno looking on the inside. Oh, I tell you what, Samuel. I wonder if Jeff Stabno might have saved something here. He's ready to come after Tidrick.
Oh.
It's White on the outside out of 4. 2 to go.
Oh, Jeff Stabno tightened up in the center of the corner, drifted up, and I don't think he's going to try that again. Doesn't want to ruin a championship run for Chris White currently, but I think that was his last hurrah to even have a shot to go after BJ Tidrick. But Jeff Stabno certainly put on a great show. John Ombacher going to be helping the 24. We might see Jeff Stabno. Here it goes to the inside, potentially trying to go for a pass.
To the line for the final time this year out of turn 4. CRN, 1 to go. 1 position for the race. Tidrick, 2nd spot. White for the championship. Turn 1 for the final time.
I mean, BJ Tidrick, what a race. Kind of gifted into this spot after the contact of Lake Peterson and Sean Breitzman. But all eyes on the man who's in second, Chris White. Man, what a race and what a season for himself.
Out of turn number 4, BJ Tidrick. Welcome back to victory lane since Darlington. The number 4 seed, Christopher White, champion of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series of 2021. And Jeff Stabno, a solid Type 3 finish. What a moment. What a battle. The battle is over. Samuel, the number 4 seed in the playoffs is now number 1, Christopher White, a Northwest iRacing Cup Series champion in Season 2. Wow.
Chris White's final stats coming into tonight: 24 race starts, 2 wins, 13 top 5s, and 21 top 10s. Consistency was what got him here, and staying consistent out of trouble is what won this 38 championship.
The celebration is on. Tidrick doing his own burnout in the middle of the infield grass, as he has not been to victory lane since Darlington of June 2020. Welcome back to Northwest Victory Lane, and he's going to make the virtual landscapers mad and tear down the fertile lawn. Here inside the infield of the Tri-Oval, Dan West Jr. gives him a big punt there. And now, there's Chris White burning it down at the start-finish line. The champion now getting his chance to light up the grass. Look out for those potholes. Look out for those entrances. And there's Dan West Jr., one of the final 4, giving him congratulations. He is the champion.
Wow. I mean, White House candles, got to be loving this. But, man, Wesley, just thinking 40 laps to go, 50 laps to go. We were talking about, Sean Breitzman, potential of becoming a back-to-back champion, the only Cup champion in this series, and now a brand-new champion is crowned here tonight, Chris White.
There went Sean Breitzman flying by. Christopher White, Still's car intact. The Northwest high-five salute. Here comes Chris White. Maybe he wants to do a Polish victory lap. champion Christopher White in his Ford Mustang number 83. I would not have thought this. Somebody said keep an eye on Chris White. He could be the guy to win this. Was that our partner, Greg Rentz? I think it was.
That was Greg. That was Greg right at the start when we were making our picks. He picked Chris White, and that was who got it done.
Greg Rentz is right. Greg Rentz is right. He played his cards right, and look at Greg getting it right. We miss you, buddy. Hopefully we have you back here with us next year. And there is Christopher White now doing the Polish victory lap set by the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup champion from Wisconsin of Alan Kulwicki, the first driver, crew chief, car owner to do it in NASCAR. And now Christopher White, only fitting, only special to get his moment before he's destroyed, if there's any cars left, in what is the Northwest High Five Salute send-off on the season. He's halfway down the Nellis straightaway to the South Point Casinos, turn number 2. And Chris White in reverse, going wrong way around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As you see our blimp view, he is the champion. One more time down the front straightaway. Here comes the number 83. Give him a round of applause. Give him a chat send-off with high fives, waves, thumbs ups, and more, as Christopher White has got it done. Champion here for the season. And B.J. Tidrick, the race winner. Let's go to the unofficial results for the final time. B.J. Tidrick, the winner of the race. Christopher White, champion. Second. He was the number 4 seed going into this race. Jeff Stabnow third. Justin Yee will finish 4th. Kevin Smith, good solid run for him. I look for big things out of the Hermiston, Washington native next year. Top 5, Tyler King. Lake Peterson wrecked with around 30 laps to go with Brightsman. He fell back to 7th. 1 lap down. Dan West Jr., a penalty in the pits took him out. Dennis Moore, 9th. Dan Lowther, all a lap down. Rest of the field, top 10, Samuel.
Yeah, then you find that of Sean Bridesman. You know the disappointments there for the 46. Had fresh tires, made contact with Lake Peterson. This night going a lap down in 11th. Troy Daggett in 12th. Stephen O'Hare going to get 13th with John Ottenbacher 14th. Russ Lundberg's going to get 15th. Ryan Bloom, Frank Harris, James Vining, Will Duvall, and Aaron Cooper going to be your top 20. The final rest of the drivers, that going to be Scott Hutchinson, Roy Grande, as well as Eric Chaney, and Chaney did not start the race.
Man, what a moment. You know, we had some more commentary with these drivers that were racing for the championship. And as we get ready to handle our finish line post-race wrap-up, here is the thoughts of what it means to be a champion, what they thought. And now in the end, Christopher White is doing just that.
Feels really good. I've been waiting for it for a long time. Being able to get a win early in the season kind of got my hopes up for trying to get to this point in the season. And then with the playoffs going as smoothly as they did, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge that lies ahead going against 3 other really tough competitors.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. To be able to race back-to-back for a back-to-back championship, just can't be more excited, hoping to grab that back-to-back championship.
Oh, it feels fantastic. Nothing other to say than that. It's a long season, so it's always a good feeling to be in the Final Four. I didn't make it in there last year, so it's a fantastic feeling, and it's exciting right now to be looking forward to it next Monday night.
So again, that is the thoughts of these drivers thinking. That is the thoughts of these drivers thinking what it would be like to win the championship. And when it is all said and done again, the champion is the driver of Chris White. You just saw him a moment ago at the final interview. He gets it done. And of course, we will grab a word with our top three in just a moment, as we will have our finish line post-race wrap-up. We will talk to the champion, of course, Chris White. Everyone else will also grab a word with the winner, BJ Tidrick. Stick around. Coverage continues from Vegas in just a moment on your home for sim racing and the Community Radio Network. It is time now for the finish line. Post-race wrap-up. Finish line is an official weekly radio motorsports show nationally on Fox Sports Radio, iHeartRadio, and the Community Radio Network. And, of course, thanks to LSRTV Productions, you can see and feel the emotions of the drivers, the guests that we have on a weekly basis. That is Finish Line, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific in the morning on, of course, Wednesday on, of course, all of those.
A good spot in case we got a caution. And, next thing you know, it's the three of us. And I probably wasn't the only one that was out of right front tire there, but just couldn't get it done. Every time I got up to the rear bumper, I got so aerotight, and I'd borked that right tire so hard, that right front tire was all I had. But pretty happy with the P3 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, we saw there being the early wreck on lap 1. I talked to you even beforehand about, it sounded like you kind of were expecting your night to end pretty quick here. How was the night, though, for yourself? Were you kind of just surprised you just kept on staying in the race and there wasn't anything that was hitting you?
Well, it was the draft. It's so strong here, and the pack racing, and it's hard to bust out of the pack. And you pass a guy, and then all of a sudden he's 0.3 faster than you because of the draft, and he's going to try to pass you back, and you get in the middle of the pack, and then you get so aerotight. You get right up on somebody's bumper, and all of a sudden you can't even turn the car anymore. So that combination, I just thought the middle of the pack, anybody that didn't break away out front right off the bat was just going to get churned all night. And But we were able to get spread out and get that long green flag running going, and that's exactly what I needed. It was long green flag runs.
Jeff, your take, obviously being a former champion, Peterson, colleague, friend, teammate, Sean Breitzman, fighting for a championship, maybe a little too early, or do you think that was just the outcome of two guys wanting to win again, winning the title?
Well, I didn't see it happen. I heard that Lake just got a little bit loose there, so they're two guys with pretty good car control there. I doubt it was. They could probably run door to door and not hit each other. So I'm going to go with the Lake got loose and just happened to catch Sean on his way there. But I think early on, Dan, until he got that pit road speeding penalty, he was kind of the class of the race, and then Sean and Lake too. Chris was back there just running with me all night, taking care of his stuff and keeping his nose clean, and that just goes to show you how running a clean race and keeping that car clean is the secret to winning these things, man.
And I know that definitely in a bit, Jeff Stabdown will actually make formal induction for Chris White being the champion for Season 2. So, Jeff, stand by with us there. But before we do let you go, buddy, thank your sponsors on the 24, and good luck next year.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll line them up, do it again. Hopefully next year's a much better year. We'll get this thing turned around. As far as the sponsors, right, Wells Beard Co. ran with me a little bit now and then throughout the season this year, but primarily you guys, LSRTV, Team LSRTV, you guys are just amazing, fantastic. The broadcast is second to none. The 4K, all the announcing team, Samuel, Wesley, you guys are the best in my book. We had a lot of sponsors throughout the year. I can't remember them all. Obviously, Tom Dench Auto was huge for us this year. Tom Dench Auto Group, so go check them out, tomdenchautogroup.com. Northwest Sugar was another sponsor for us this year that was nice to see. The Cast Iron Cooking YouTube channel, what a fantastic channel they've got there, and they came on board, sponsored us for about 5 races. We had Nicole Brienne Photography, and I know I missed a couple more, but just thanks to everybody who helped us out this year. And hopefully we were able to help them out a little bit too.
Jeff Stabdown, third, here tonight at Vegas. Quotes for championship is on the quest during the offseason to prepare to get better for next year in 2022. Runner-up of the race is Chris White. Of course, Chris White driving the number 83 machine. Chris, your take of the race, man. You saw the leaders of Peterson and Brightsman wreck. You went through the gap. You tried to avoid, stay out of trouble. Jeff said you stayed in the back a long time. You happy with a second place finish to close the year out, bud?
Oh, certainly. I'll take a podium finish anytime you can get it. It's certainly tough to get up here and finish these races up in the front. These guys are tough to run with, and I certainly was burning up that right front tire. But, like Jeff was saying, I kind of just I didn't feel like I had a strong enough car to run with the 09 and the 46 and some of these guys. So I was kind of just running my race, running my line, and staying out of trouble, keeping the car clean. And sure enough, like Jeff said, sometimes, things happen and it pays off to kind of just take care of your stuff. So that's what happened. Second place is good. I was trying to go for the win, certainly, but just didn't have anything for the 72.
I mean, Chris, there were plenty of moments throughout the beginning portions of this race, really that first half, where there was a lot of scares that we even saw on the broadcast of drivers kind of chopping you off. How nerve-wracking was it in that first half? Because it seemed like the championship drivers and also just everyone else that was racing, there was a jitter out there tonight of drivers making some odd moves.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking just coming into this race, not knowing what to expect. And right off the green flag, we had a wreck, and I'm not even sure how I made it through that. But thankfully, I didn't even get caught up in that. I still had my fast repair in the bank. In fact, I think I finished this race with 0X. No scratch on the car, to believe it or not. But yeah, a lot of dicey moves out there. But there was the draft. There was the getting the aero tight and everything. The right front was burning off. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on, and I knew I was fast with fresh tires. But as the run went on long, that right front just would give up, and I just couldn't push it. I just couldn't push it hard to get too tight.
Well, Chris White, don't go far, my friend. We'll talk to you here in just a few moments. But again, second place in the race there for the driver of the number 83 machine. And we'll have another moment with him here in just a second. But let's go to Victory Lane now and talk to the driver of the car, number 72, Verizon entry out of Yakima, Washington. Welcome back to Victory Lane, BJ Tidrick. Man, congratulations to you. Right place, right time. Take a U, Peterson and Brightsman. You made the move. Stuck it, went through the gap, went to the lead, never looked back, held off White and Jeff Stabdown to be the winner. Finally, your second career win, and it's been since June of last year when you won at Darlington. Your take of being the winner to close out the season tonight.
Well, first off, I'm just glad that I got one so that I could say I got a win in both seasons because it was looking it was looking kind of deserted out there. But, I mean, like Jeff said earlier, the draft was so big. I struggled because I didn't get a whole lot of practice here. And to come in and get the little bit of practice that I did get, I thought that when I got behind somebody, the car really evolved, throughout a run. And when it was behind somebody, it kind of changed its characteristics. So it was just kind of stressful just racing the thing. And then through just a really lucky pit strategy sequence and a little bit of luck with Sean and Lake, it just kind of fell in our way. But I decided to pit early, and I think that was what changed the whole game. Was that I think it was lap 17 or 19 or something. We had a yellow, and I decided to pit for tires there, knowing that if it went green, there was going to be a good possibility that this thing could kind of stretch out, and who knows what would happen. So I thought, I want to have new tires to kind of pad that first run, and it just everything fell into place, and we came out on top. I mean, it was honestly a little bit of luck, but I got to thank Jeff and Sean and everybody that puts this thing on, all you guys over there at 3 Wide. This is a fun thing that a lot of guys get to do, and I think people kind of take it for advantage, what we gain from it. We all get to come out and have a good time with our buddies, and yeah, your wife's bitching because you're video gaming or whatever, but it means a lot to all of us to come out here and play. And Tom Denchel Auto Group to come on board and help us see this thing through, because it's not cheap either, because everybody's time is worth something. So I'm just really glad that Northwest has something like this that they can fall back on and go racing in the off season. There's a lot of different leagues coming up this year over the winter, so iRacing's alive and well in the Northwest, and it's pretty exciting from what you guys show.
Yeah, I mean, BJ, when you noticed on the relative that you were catching up and there was, something went awry with the front two, what was going through your mind in that moment?
Honestly, I thought that I had so much time left to punish my tires that I thought I was just going to back myself right through the top 5, but I think everybody was kind of struggling with getting a run and protecting that right front. So I think it all just came together. I didn't really think about winning until, I don't know, maybe the last 5 laps, that thought maybe I could hold them off. I was positive that I've done this so many times in the past where I just abuse my stuff needlessly and shoot myself in the foot. It just didn't quite come to fruition today.
BJ, I want you to thank your sponsors as well, but a segue question to this, man. Does this race win mean so much more more than the shenanigans that was the Darlington win back in June, because you definitely had to show some talents there down the stretch, avoid the accident between Brightsman Peterson, and hang here at the end off White and Stab now to be the victor?
This race is just completely different. I actually got to outrun Dan West at Darlington, so that made it pretty big. But then today, everything was so different because of the pit strategy, and a couple of key cars got taken out, and it's just more of a walking down the street. Hey, look what I found,
Hey, man, sponsors, congratulations to you, bud.
Thanks, man. I really don't have any sponsors. Just got to thank my wife, but she ain't going to listen, so it don't matter if I thank her or not. But Verizon, they don't give me any money to put them on the car. It's just a cool looking paint scheme. So just thanks for doing what you guys are doing, and keep it up.
Oh, I just always enjoyed talking with BJ Tidrick. There you go. Welcome back to Victory Lane. And, of course, that's the driver, B.J. Tidrick, winner here tonight in the race here in Vegas. The winner of the battle, the winner of the war, is the driver that finished second. He was the number 4 seed coming into this race. The battle for the championship came down to Brightsman, Peterson, 30 laps to go. They took each other out. Chris White had a smile on his face, went through, stayed out of trouble. Christopher White is now the first champion in Season 2, joining Sean Brightsman from last year of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. Chris, congratulations to you, buddy. What a moment this is.
Woo! Yeah, I'm telling you what, man, it feels good. I was stressing there for a while. It was just a long race. I like I said in my second place interview there, it was tough on the long run, and I just knew I didn't have anything for the 09 or the 46. It was going to be between them. And honestly, I didn't even know anything happened to him until I saw the 09 coming out of the infield. And then I was like thinking, well, did the 46 get caught up with him too? And then sure enough, the scoring pylon kind of shifted around, and there I was in second behind the 72. And it was like, well, I guess the 46 got caught up too. And now it's on for the championship and the race win. But at least we brought the championship home. So yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, incredible. The fact that you had 0x. Everyone else besides yourself in those final championship 4 that was battling for this championship, everyone else had some major issue happen. I mean, like I noted on, there were a lot of scary moments early on, but how was it late? Just trying to still keep your nose out of trouble, even though you were surrounded by that of Tidrick and Stabnow.
I was trying to be patient, but trying to put the pedal to the metal. I know it's just kind of conflicting if you think of it. You're trying to stay out of trouble. You're trying to win the race. You're trying to rear view mirror race because Jeff's back there. I got to he got to my inside. I was kind of racing him hard, and like I told him in race, I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm doing out here. I'm pushing a little too hard here. All I got to do is keep it in one piece, get it to the finish line. The win isn't really, going to do it for me. I just got to finish ahead of these other guys, so I should have stepped back and just played it caution. But it played out, and it was a fun race. I was more or less worried that a yellow flag would come out with like 2 to go, and then everything would be reset. And but thankfully we got some good long green flag runs in, and I think that's what kind of shaped this race up.
Chris, what can you say about the Northwest iRacing Series and where it's at, and obviously this year now having the opportunity to be what is the title to the champion? You were the number 4 seed. You did what you had to do to be able to make it to the finals. You won the races you needed to do. You went through the table of going to the playoffs, and obviously, maybe a lot of people read you off, but man, it just really shows you just how talented you definitely are being there at the stretch. And I think the closing scenario, anything can happen, and we've seen that here tonight. So many storylines, so many factors, so many dramas, and so many different levels. But at the end, you're at the guy at the top.
Well, Wesley, first of all, you just can't underestimate any of the drivers in this league. Everybody's tough. Everybody comes out here and wants to win. But most importantly, we want to come out here, race competitively, and have fun at the same time. And from time to time, tempers flare, things happen. It's part of racing. But the Northwest Racing League across the board, adding the ARCA series along with the Truck Series and the Cup Series, it's just been a fantastic season across the board. There's so much work, so much time, so much effort goes into this. I couldn't be more appreciative of the guys behind the scenes, Jeff and Sean and just everybody, for taking the time to come out here and race each week and make this series what it is. And like I said, you just can't underestimate anybody. And, just because the 4 of us made it into the top 4 tough guys, this season, no doubt, was like dominated by the 09 Lake Peterson. Fantastic year. Sean Brightsman, past champion last year. And Dan West Jr. strong every week. Like I said, coming into this, it felt like the underdog, and I knew I had a lot to prove, and I think I just did it. I think I did it by just keeping my car in one piece and just running my own race.
Jeff Stabnow to now make the official enshrinement induction for the Season 2 champion of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, presented by Tom Dinchell Automotive Group, the number 83 Ford of Christopher White. Jeff, it's all yours, buddy.
Chris, congratulations, man. I know you've been close more than once. I think you got a couple runner-ups, and so this one has to feel good, buddy. Congratulations, man. You are the 2021 Northwest Cup Series champion, man.
I appreciate it, Jeff. I really do. You're right. I've come close a couple times. I think one notable one was Chicagoland, where I lost it, I think, to you in the Xfinity Series. So it's good to finally come out and get one. It feels good, actually. Never knew what it would really feel like to be a champion in a sim racing league, but it feels good, honestly.
Well, congratulations, man, and welcome to the club. You earned it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Christopher White, one more time, buddy. Thank your sponsors and congratulations to you on the championship.
Well, I got White House Candle Co. on the car, whitehousecandleco.com. Homemade, handmade candles, wax melts. Check it out if you're interested. Got to definitely thank LSRTV. Awesome broadcast all year. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. Everything's evolving so much and for the better. Everything is just getting better. Got to thank, most importantly, got to thank Tom Dental Auto Group for coming on board for the season. It's fantastic that they're on board and that we're able to represent them through sim racing. And I hope they enjoyed the season. I hope you guys, LSR TV, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed the season. And I gotta thank everybody in the league. Everybody puts the time and effort to come out and race and make this league what it is. I gotta congratulate, these other guys, Sean Brightsman, Dan West, and Lake Peterson, my competition in this championship here. And it's unfortunate some things happen. Lake had a fantastic season, Dan and Sean as well. And yeah, it's just been, I'm kind of speechless. I mean, I'm talking a lot, but I'm kind of speechless at the same time, but it's been a fantastic year. And thanks to everybody.
He is originally from Harrison Township, Michigan. And now he calls Rochester, Washington home. And the number 83 Ford of Chris White is now the 2021 Northwest iRacing Cup Series champion. Samuel Dyer and myself will wrap things up from Vegas after a quick break.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Were you not entertained? What a battle. What a race. What crazy scenarios. What crazy stories it was. And when it's all over, the driver out of Rochester, Washington, Chris White, the champion. Samuel, your final take on things. Is it only fitting Chris White to win the championship?
I mean, that was one of the things that we harped on at the beginning, was consistency is what got, we saw the consistent wins and the polls from that of Lake Peterson. We saw the consistency from, Sean Bridesman's, and the fact that he's been in the top 10 almost every single race, with today being the first race of all of his starts this season not being in the top 10. And for Dan West Jr., consistency was not there for pit stops for the last round, the round of 8. Struck bad luck again here tonight, but man, Chris White, consistent all night, 0x, didn't have a scratch on that 83 machine, and comes away with the champion. What a night it was.
Did everything he needed to do to win this championship. And then you think of what was stupid between Sean Bridesman and Lake Peterson, whether it was a slip, whether somebody did it making contact, ran out of room. Mind you, though, Samuel, they're racing for a championship. There was laying it all on the line. And that's what I got to say about these guys. Though some people might think it was a boneheaded move, why didn't we see this at the end? These guys knew that they were the two alpha males battling for this championship. P1, P2 on the scoring pylon. Anything was bound to happen. We saw that, and I think we're going to see the same type of excitement in the Truck Series on Wednesday night.
If anything, things might even be even more ramped up, because you've got, you still got Dan West, you still got Sean Bridesman, the two drivers that had the shot to be Cup and Truck champions. But now, for Dan, he's got to worry about his son Devin racing. We saw the power of the 44 of Dennis Moore tonight. He's going to have a fast truck. It is going to be amazing to see what these drivers bring for Wednesday night. But yeah, I mean, for the Lake Peterson and Sean Bridesman incident, Lake was in a must-pass mode. He had to make that pass for the lead and just couldn't get it done because of how strong Sean Bridesman was on the inside with the fresher tires. And it's just a boneheaded move that cost both drivers a chance for a championship. It was just 20 laps too soon. If it was with 20 to go, maybe then, but with 40 laps to go and just taking each other out, it just wasn't the right time, and we're all going to be scratching our heads throughout all of the off season, wondering what if.
Samuel, we can't wait till Wednesday, buddy. Truck racing for the championship one more time at Vegas. Thanks for all you do, man. Great job tonight.
Hey, I'm excited for Wednesday. That's going to be a good one.
Should be a good one as well, definitely. One more final look at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now under the lights, Blimp View. What a show. What a race. What a moment. Sean Breitzman, Lake Peterson fighting for the championship. Take each other out. Dan West Jr., penalties on the pit lane, taking his opportunities away for a title. And when it's all said and done, Chris White, the perfect 100 score to be the champion at night's end. Be good to one another. Thanks for watching and listening on LSRTV or the Community Radio Network. For Rocket Media, LSRTV, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, everybody in production. For everybody in course, thanks to Greg Rentz, joining us in the booth a couple of times this year, missing us in the playoffs. For Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. One more race to go. Ryan Blumarker champion. Chris White, National Northwest Cup champion. And we'll find out who will be joining them in the trucks on Wednesday. Thank you.